Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Off Court Podcast, the paddle podcast covering all your paddle needs. This is episode 23, covering the Paris Major. As always, as you know, we are your hosts. I'm joined by Connor. My name is Hugh. Welcome back, wherever you're listening or watching from. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yeah.
Today, as I said, diving into one of the most important tournaments of the season.
We've got a major.
One of the majors, the Paris Major, the Roland Garros. Before we do that, Connor, how are you? You're good?
I'm lovely, thank you. Very excited to get into this. I love the Paris Major, obviously held at Roland Garros, where a lot of legendary moments have happened in sports, tennis, obviously. And it's great to see paddle share that stage. So it's always a good one to watch, one of my favorites in the year. And I'm really excited for that. Very excited. And I want to ask you how you are before we give a little surprise to our audience. How's everything with you?
Yeah, good. Pretty terrible weather in London so far, so not a lot of paddle, but we get to watch it, so that's always good.
Well, we've got a little message here from a friend of the show.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to put it up here, and you guys are going to watch. And let's get it into it. There we go. Hello, my friends from the Off Court Podcast. We are here in the center court in the Philippe Chatrier, about to enjoy the finals of this Paris Major. Predictions: I think that Gemma and Delphi will take it, and also I think that even though Ale Galan yesterday was unstoppable, it's a time for the number one to retake the crown here in Paris. Ciao, ciao. Right.
Amazing. There we go.
There we have it. If for those who maybe are familiar with his voice, maybe not his face, that's Gonzo Viña. Red Bull commentator and commentator for Premier Padel. So he's a great friend of the show. He's been on our show as well earlier in the year. And it was great to see him, or great to know someone on the ground. Philippe Chatrier.
I don't know how to...
Excuse my French.
Yeah.
But it was very nice of him.
Yeah.
Gonzo, thank you very much for sending that through.
Big shout out to Gonza. Thank you for doing that.
Did lay out a couple of predictions, which... wasn't the riskiest predictions ever, and he was right at the end of the day. He does know what he's talking about, and that just kind of brings us straight into our episode. Really, he gave the predictions for the women's final. It was Icardo, Ortega, and
against the number ones,
Sanchez. What's happening with my names, guys? I lost all the names. Triay
and Brea. Yes, exactly. So we had a hell of a final. Let's just dive right into it.
I know. I thought this was going to be almost like Nenno Augsburger round 2 on the women's side a little bit, because these guys, don't normally get to a finals. They're very consistent as a new pairing. They are
number 5 ranked in the world.
And we have to kind of mention that as well, that this is probably their 6th tournament playing together. So, and they got to the finals of a major. And I'm just so impressed with, obviously, Ortega, but also Tammy Icardo. She was just like a great person to watch.
Yeah. Knocking out number 3s in quarterfinals.
Yes.
González Fernandez, and then knocking out the number 2s. Paulita and Ari in the semis, and then going up against the number 1s in the final. They nearly did an Augsburger Nenno.
It would have been crazy if they did win it, honestly. But
it was still a great match. Look, the court conditions in Paris weren't the fastest.
No.
For obviously both men and women. It wasn't a super slow court, but it was on the slower side, so that we could expect slower play style, more patience, which is always in women's paddle especially. I feel like you can see that a bit more.
Definitely.
The extremes on the men's side are bigger, because if it's a fast court, then it's a smash fest. If it's a slow court, then it's like points that never ever end. But in the women's, it was a constant back and forth, the finals. It was a very physical game because of the slow courts as well, very demanding physically. And I think on the women's side, it is a bit more noticeable when you have a slow court. So both teams had to work for there.
But when you're facing Geometry Eye a little bit, I called her the Terminator. It feels like that almost.
Yeah.
It's just like an absolute spectacle to watch, really, before we go into each set and everything like that, especially that first set, which was very, very tight. It's just these guys, Geometry Eye, Delphi Brea, are obviously the number 1s at the moment, and I think that's well deserved. And just seeing Gemma's performance as well as Delphi's, but she's just an absolute weapon, man. Really, like it's so good to watch. And we're gonna get into it now here a little bit on what went wrong with Tammy Icardo and Ortega, but I think we can sort of not point fingers a little bit at Ortega, but definitely the drop off came there a little bit.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But obviously, like, we got a 7-5, 6-2, right?
Yeah.
Like, that first set was so, like, one apiece.
Yeah, and it was breaking serves constantly. I think if we go like player by player a little bit here, Tamara Ricardo had a great match, great player, great defense. A bit slept on, I think, in general. Tammy Ricardo.
I was gonna ask what you think of her, really.
Because she didn't have the best season last year.
Yes.
So she got lost a bit under the radar, but now she's back with one of the best players in the world, Marta Ortega, as we said before, number 5 ranked in the world, which isn't bad at all.
No.
And they showed it in this major, especially. They've also, interesting fact, they've gone up against Paula and Ari twice.
Yes.
Twice they've beating them.
There you go.
So Tamara Ricardo, I think, played a great match.
Yeah.
Really, really solid. If you look here at
We've got the stats
at the stats, you'll see the graph. We'll put them up. Ricardo and Triay, the backhand players, on a completely different level as the forehand players.
Yeah.
So they were both carrying their teams. Great match. She's very aggressive and also a great defense.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know what your opinion on this, but as you said before, Ortega, in my opinion, was missing too much. She was definitely the weakest link out of the pair, with a lot of unforced errors, with only 13 unforced errors, and only 14 winners. So not an amazing performance. And I think she's just a bit too passive for the level she's playing at.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think it's something that we speak about a lot on the men's side, and that we're just seeing already, right? The sort of strategy and the style of play is becoming way more aggressive, fast paced, you know, going for not just winners, but, you know, dunking the ball out, smashes, and just kind of keeping that high level pressure instead of, you know, building points up slowly, you know, letting your opponents make the mistakes. And it almost feels like Marta Ortega's not stuck playing that old style of paddle. That just is her style of paddle at the moment, where I think it's moments like this when they're in the finals, especially against Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea, who are kind of locked into that new style of paddle, right? She just doesn't bring it. And that's the kind of the downfall a little bit here, because it's way too slow, as you said, way too passive. And there are moments in that game in the finals where I was a little bit disappointed, because that's when unforced errors start to leak through.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that edge or that aggression or that pressure, which you need to put on players like Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea in order to put, you know, stress on them, it just doesn't work out. And I think that's why we got that 6-2 after that drop off after, you know, a 7-5 in that first set.
I mean, there was an early break on the second set after the first set that was more equal, giving the number ones just the breathing space that they needed in the advantage as well.
Yeah.
And then a second break on the second set just consolidated their win, ending it with a 6-2 in their favor. We were saying before, Gemma Triay doing Gemma things, as they call her, Gemma Magnifica.
Yeah, she is.
Gemma Magnificent. Definitely the MVP of the match. Way better than any of the other three.
Yeah, let's give her a moment here, though, because she's actually just incredible to watch, though, because she's so she's like a bully on the court a little bit, right? Because she makes the move so much. She makes any player really move. But to see Gemma push them to the back of the court and then hit with a drop shot and make them run and just kind of like, you know, take the gas out of their momentum. And that's what I think she's really good at, is kind of just like breaking down the opponents, and making them sort of like crumble a little bit.
Exactly. In my opinion, I kind of see her as like an orchestra conductor. She can shape points and entire games to her advantage and however she wants to do it. She's like directing the ball.
She's like the metronome of the game,
literally,
right? Keeping that pace back and forth, and
it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, there were moments where it felt like Ortega and Ricardo were kind of in the palm of Gemma Triay's hand a little bit, which, you know, fair enough. Like, she's an absolute champion at this point. That's why she's, you know, ranked number 1 at the moment as well. And yeah, you know, I think that confidence winning a major, pushing that points difference between Sánchez and Josemaría even further now, which is something we're going to talk about later in the episode.
Yeah.
But honestly, this pairing, Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea, these moments are just kind of like they make sense when why they're together, right? And where they are now. So they took that final, especially in that last
Don't just take our word for it, though, you know, because like the numbers don't lie. If you look at the stats, I mean,
yes, please.
There's no major individual highlights apart from literally Gematria, she's got 20 winners
Right.
with only 9 unforced errors. So she's got the most winners out of the 4 players and
Yeah.
the least unforced errors as well. Main character when it came to deciding breakpoints, as you can see here with her key point index. The main difference, I think, in the whole match, if you look at it as a whole, was in breakpoints. We've got 5 out of 8 for the number ones,
Yes.
with only 2 out of 5 for Ortega y Cardo, so breaking them 5 times versus only 2.
Yeah.
I think as well, if in general there's not a lot to pick on, in my opinion as well. You could look at I actually did the math here to see like how one got 52 points and the other 70. One of the main differences was the forced errors, actually.
Right.
If you can see here, only 4 forced errors from Tria Ibrea versus 14, I think, for Icardo and Ortega. So a 10 forced error difference, meaning, the number one's aggressive play style, forcing their opponents to make mistakes. Even if there weren't winners, you still take those points,
No, that's incredible. I mean, I'm always a sucker for the breakpoint stats because I feel like it's almost like it kind of topples over here a little bit. As you said, Gematria and Delphi Brea, made 5 out of 8 breakpoints, but only 2 out of 5 for Icardo and Marta. And it's almost like with the breakpoints, when you obviously it's great to keep that pressure, right? You're in that zone of potentially breaking their serve, but after a certain amount of times where you're in that zone trying to break them and you don't, for example, like here 2 out of 5, the stat becomes almost negative, right? Because then you become less successful with actually breaking them. The confidence goes down a little bit. In those high pressure moments, you couldn't convert the point, and I think that kind of reflects really, especially the first set where the devil was in the details, if you can say that. And it's a 2-set game final, which obviously we want a 3-setter, but it's kind of underdogs going against top dogs here. So we didn't get that Nenno Augsburg feeling out.
No.
Would have been nuts. Would have been cool seeing Zinedine Zidane standing next to Tammy Icardo and Marta Ortega, but we're obviously big fans of Geometry. And
we had 2023 and 2024 winners, Ari and Paula, and they couldn't defend their title this year. It went to the new number ones, Gematria and Delphi Brea.
The race is on.
The race is on, man.
The women's side. If you guys are watching it, please watch it, and tune in for our later segment where we talk about that a little bit.
Let us know what you thought of the women's final, this tournament on the women's side as well. We love hearing from you in the comments wherever you are watching or listening from.
All right.
But yes, Connor, what's next?
The men's final, El Clasico.
Let's go.
Chingalan, Galan was on fire this tournament. A lot of excitement built up to get to the final. His semifinals against Yanguas, which we might reference a little bit later,
were ridiculous.
Was one of the best performances. So it was a lot of juice to ride on here. But at the same time, you're going up against the number ones, Coello and Tapia, which we all the narrative rings in our ears a little bit when we mention their names, and they were also on fire as well a little bit, right? So what was I expecting? I wanted a little bit of a tougher game. But I don't think we got that, and we're going to get into that right now.
I have one question for you before that.
Sure, hit me with it.
Give me one word to describe this final.
I will use the same word that probably describes Galan after the first set, which is deflated.
Okay.
A 2-set final. The scoreline I think reflects kind of the energy of how this game went, which was a little bit disappointing. I was kind of waiting for Galan and Chingalan to turn on a little bit, or take advantage of those moments. But I'd say a little bit of deflated final. I wasn't disappointed. I found it entertaining, but I just want that gap to close. And it's tournaments like this. Bless you.
Thank you.
Where it feels like it's there. I kind of look at Padel now, and I'm like, what are the next 5 years gonna look like? And I can just see Coello and Tapia just winning and winning and winning and winning on top, and no one's putting that pressure on them. And the number 2 pair is Galan and Chingato. It's moments like that where I'm like, we're screwed, guys. We're screwed. Like, they're screwed. Like, no one can actually put any pressure on these guys. So I felt a little deflated. I kind of joined that narrative a little bit of does Galan need someone else a little bit? Crazy, I know, but what did you think of it as well?
One word to describe the final, I would say. I'm just gonna say creativity.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Coming from Coello and Tapia, because I think I mean, we'll get to it now, but I think what defines this final was the incredible ability of Coello and Tapia to just crush Chingalan in a different way that we've never seen them do it before.
Yeah.
We usually talk about the advantage being that Chingoto can't smash.
Yeah.
So they've got like an advantage there. Wasn't the case this time. We'll see by, what we're going to talk about now and the numbers as well.
Yeah.
They used something completely different to break them down. It was amazing to watch. So let's just break it down quickly. Let's get into the first set.
Yeah.
As we've said before, court was slow, so not a lot of smashing going on.
But when the smashes did come out, though, especially from Coello and Tapia,
it took a while to warm them up, but
exactly.
But they definitely did in the end come up with that. There was a few silly mistakes by Chingalan giving Coello Tapia an early break.
Yeah,
that was one of the main differences. Is mistakes and unforced errors.
It was hard to watch, right? Because you kind of nailed it really well describing them, but their defense, because they're known for being the aggressive players, right? But if you flip it and when they need to be defensive and just bring consistency, that's also like their bread and butter at the same time, man. Like,
I mean, look, they weren't even smashing. What they did is they found, which is what I said before about the creativity, they found winners through other shots, like rulos, víboras to their feet, rulos to their feet, finding angles. They're so resourceful when it comes to, you think about it, and some people maybe would say, Coello Tapia, they're the best because they've got like so much power, and it's true. And when they can smash, it's over. But when they can't smash, they find answers. And they prove why they're the number ones. I mean, if you just look at the first set, it was so dominant. Chingalan were obviously, as we said, a bit sleepy, and Coello Tapia were on form. But it was the unforced errors really that gave away the easy points. Only one unforced error at the end of the first set from Tapia.
Wow.
And from Coello and Tapia, 9 for Chingalan. 12 winners to 5 as well. As I said, they weren't even smashes. So it's Coello and Tapia's consistency what gave them that.
Yeah, and that's what was, incredible to watch, but also kind of tough to watch from Galan and Chingoto's perspective. But it's almost like they can pretty much return any ball that gets sent over to their side. And it's almost this game of like, let's wait until Galan makes a mistake, and which is what we were kind of watching. They were kind of picking on Galan a little bit and left Chingoto alone. And after a long-ish rally, just to see Galan put it in the net, that's when like frustrations build, and you can see it in Galan's face.
You can see it.
Not an unusual thing. He kind of, shows his emotions a little bit in his frustrations. But, that first set ended 6-1. 6-1
6-1 is crazy. Only 20% smash effectiveness from Galan at the end of the first set, with 100% from Tapia. It's ridiculous. We've said it before, but they're robots. These guys are literal cyborgs. I mean, either if one of them has a bad day, and you can see it here with the stats, like look at the graph difference. Look at both of them going up like that and Chingalan going down. These guys do not miss. And you watch the final and you're used to it, so it doesn't even like surprise us anymore, I guess. But like if you actually put yourself in that situation, receiving these bullets from Chingo, these like massive volleys from Galan as well. These guys are just blocking, doing the splits to like get these balls, playing off the glass, like they do not miss. And
even in the game as well, there was a couple of times where it's definitely Galan hitting a Portres, right? And it was just insane to see them run out and return it into the net, smash it into the.
And that was crazy. They did like I think 3 the whole 2 by Tapia, 1 by Coello.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Honestly,
and the ones that Chingo tried to do, didn't happen. So it's those, like as you said, devils in the details. Those little details that seem. It's like, okay, they won 3 points by going out the court. Yeah, but like those 3 points could be very important. And also they break down your opponent. They're like, I just smacked this ball as hard as I could off the court. And these two fuckers just...
they run out.
They run out and they just get it in. They don't just get it in. They get a fucking winner off of it as well,
Just stuffing it into the net. I think Galan tried to hit it once and, it hits the net and Coello's still able to scoop it up and keep the point alive. And like, this just like they can return anything, really. Like, they really can. And it's like, you have to expect that. Even the moments when there's a couple of moments when Galan and Chingotto are both outside the court.
Yeah.
And they both run back in, and the shot placement's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's normally Galan trying to get back to his side, and they're like, all right, I'm going to slap this on his back. And it just gets...
I remember this. Galan was trying to cover
Chingo.
if it was, whether it was staying in or not.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those like portraits that you don't really know. Chingo was out the court, so they were both... Their court was completely empty. They managed to get it back in, and then Coelho just plays it. Breaks Galan's ankles, and it's just that it's over.
It's I don't know, and it was a masterclass really from Coelho and Tapia, right? And that's just the first set. Yeah, that's a 6-1 right there.
Going into the second one, obviously they were like, okay, Chingalan was like, we need to step it up a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
We need to change what we're doing because it's clearly not working. A clear step up from the first set, coming out on top with the first game with a classic Galan smash. Like trying to put their foot forward, being like, okay, we're not going to go that easy. However, Chingalan just could not find an opening. No. They just could not. Coelho and Tapia were just attacking and defending so well. They weren't missing. Yeah. It just felt like such a frustrating game for Chingalan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, and I think just like the scoreline reflects it here a little bit. It's just like that gap between them, and the fact that there's not one other pairing in between them that can either push for some competitiveness is that's why I said the word deflating a little bit, because I'm like, oh man, like this is just insane, right? When they're both playing so well, it just becomes a nightmare for Chingotto and Galan, and they can't handle it.
All they were doing was finding gaps, angles, and that like impeccable touch of the ball. It was just like they were playing with it. There was like such grace when they were, hitting those top spin shots, hitting those like overheads that weren't necessarily power smashes. They just adapted beautifully to court conditions, and that is why I think they're also number ones. Because it wasn't only like a victory, like they were just... Galan seemed so out of it, but not because... he wasn't playing a horrible game, don't get me wrong, but it was just like he just could not... He was just so frustrated.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Exactly. He was like, what the fuck? There's nothing I can do here. Like,
and it's not like Galan's like... I think Galan's one of the best players.
Oh my God, like, he is. He's like top 3 by far. Like he's next to after Coelho and Tapia.
Yeah, he's there.
Probably with LeBron. He's there on like the top 3 players in the world.
Yeah.
100%.
And he couldn't find an answer there. And maybe if we look at the stats as well.
I mean, the first duel at the net, what Chingalan is so good at, net duels, the pit pat that we see so often. The first one they won, because it being a slow court, it was also something that was quite frequent, like going to clash at the net. The first duel they won came at the 3-1 when they were losing on the second set. Yeah. So they didn't win any of those up until the second set. Coelho and Tapia playing rulos to their feet, finding a lot of points that way, as I said. The precision you need as well to execute these shots. I mean, we don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a whole lot.
Galan's blocks weren't working, many of them not even going over the net. And look, I think Chingalan tried their best.
They did.
They were completely overwhelmed by, aside from their errors, they tried everything, but they couldn't. Coelho and Tapia, as that's the word I used before, they were just too creative. I think what defined them this final was the artistry, reinventing, adapting, slowly torturing their opponents, not with their power and their strangulation at the net. Not only that, but with like so many other shots. So
honestly,
so take us through let's look at the stats. Take us through it.
Perfect. Let's do it. Right, here we go. So look, my eyes always go straight to the break points here a little bit, but we have 3 out of 4 break points for Coelho and Tapia, right? Yeah, keeping that consistency. Zero break points, but only 1 opportunity, which came at that one break point came right at the end of the second set, which was probably the most important break point to have in the game, right? And they couldn't convert it. And I think really that's like the final drop off, right? Yeah. And then if we look at winners here, we have 30 winners from Coelho and Tapia, 18 to Galan and Chingotto, which is like half of the amount. And then if we look at the unforced errors, we have 14 unforced errors from Coelho and Tapia and 20 from...
So like the ratios there are just like, and they're pretty consistent. Like they're pretty like big differences as well.
Exactly.
We've got Chingalan both with negative winners to unforced errors ratios.
Right.
Which is terrible
Yes.
and not like Galan with only 11 winners, 12 unforced errors. Chingalan with Chingoto, sorry, with 7 winners and 8 unforced errors.
Right.
Compared to Tapia 14-9, Coello 16-5. So massive difference there. Only a 42% smash conversion rate for Galan, 6 out of 14. 70.
What is that implying? A 42%.
That means that he only converted 6 out of. So 42% of his smashes were winners.
I see. So he's okay. The inconsistency.
So the other
60
whatever
58% or something.
58% were probably dunks.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably gifts to Coello and Tapia. 71% for Tapia, only missing 2 smashes.
Mad.
40% for Coello, but which isn't great, but that doesn't really matter because, as we said, they were finding other ways to beat them. And 100% conversion rate for Chingoto with only 2 smashes, but 2 out of 2. As we know, Chingoto, whenever he smashes, doesn't smash a lot, but whenever he does, he always converts them.
Yeah,
it's it's really easy smashing
for him.
The key difference I think here, if we look at the numbers,
yes,
is they only converted 9 smashes in total. Between Tapia and Coello. So 9 smashes were winners, but they achieved 30 winners total, which means that there's a big part of those winners that echoes what we were saying before that weren't smashes. So we've said this again. They just found other ways to destroy them other than smashes. Rulos to open up the court. They used loads of rulos, both of them, to try and get Galan and Chingoto to stick to that net.
Yeah.
Either waiting for it to bounce awkwardly off the
side,
off the mesh.
Yeah.
Or forcing them to have to stick to the wall and go close and have to go at a very open angle to block it there.
Right.
Which then means that if they get the block and they get it back, Coello and Tapia just have an entire open court
which we
to play there. So then they just play like a soft ball down the middle.
I know.
And just like making them dance.
Yeah, they're
dance monkey dance.
Running around like headless chickens almost at that point, right? And they're just melting like butter.
Soft Viboras volleys down the middle, basically.
And that's it. That's how you kind of crack.
One thing, another important like stat that is, I think, relevant for this final is that with this title win, Tapia is now equal with Galan in terms of titles, career titles. I think they're both now at 49 titles.
Yes.
Coello's just a bit below that, and then LeBron just a bit below that as well.
Damn, man.
In terms of active players.
Tapia is rubbing the history of Galan out of Padel.
And also considering that Tapia probably has like a couple years less in the circuit than Galan does. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, he's earned it, that's for sure.
But there you go, guys. Let us know about your thoughts on this final.
Yes, please.
These like new ways of destruction and obliteration that the robots Coello Tapia have found.
I know,
what you guys thought. But without further ado, let's get into the semis.
Let's do it.
Really quickly, we saw Yanguas Nieto versus Chingalan. I mean,
we just wanted to bring that up because I think Galan gave
not much to say there. I think it was probably one of the craziest individual performances in paddle I have ever seen.
Right.
The entire match probably lasted like, I don't know, but like
an hour
maybe or less than an hour. Galan was completely imperial. I mean, 32 winners with only 4 unforced errors.
God damn.
86% smash conversion rate, smashing 22 times.
Yeah.
9 smashes total for Koki Yanguas.
Yeah.
Not even converting that many, but total of 9 smashes, converting only 5. Galan on his own converted 19. I mean, Yanguas was having a terrible game. Koki couldn't carry it at all.
Yeah.
It was just it was a 6-0, 6-2. It was crazy.
Yeah, in the semifinals as well. That's what kind of gave us our confidence for Galan and Chingoto to go into the finals against...
thinking that maybe Galan could keep up that level.
I mean, it'll probably be up on the screen, but I'm also looking at their performance index chart and seeing Galan right up here is in space, basically, compared to the other
you can't even see... Yeah. We had to scroll down to see... Yeah.
That's incredible. But yeah, unfortunately, we kind of know how the story ends there. And
but let's get into the juicy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, there was another semifinals game. Stupa Lebron, Coello, Tapia. Obviously, I think people we know where people would put their money in terms of the outcome. But I think our conversation or our interest lies a little bit more on the on-court politics between LeBron and Stupa.
So I think the good thing to do here is let's go through like a little bit of game analysis at the beginning instead of the end, and
let's
then
get the boring stuff out.
Let's get the boring stuff out of the way, and then we'll do that. So I don't know what you thought, but I mean, the beginning, we'll put the stats
Yes.
up here now. Amazing match in general, especially the first set. Really, really positive for Stupa Lebron.
Yeah.
LeBron was playing like an absolute
He was.
animal.
He was, honestly.
Like, I mean, it felt like he was everywhere.
He was soaring, man, honestly. Like, it was just so great to watch. And these are the moments where, okay, get all of the crap out the way, your attitude problems. And these are moments when you see him perform at that level where you go, hang on a second. Like, he does, obviously, he earned that, a few years ago being the number one, he earned that, right? But
he still is.
He still has it.
He still is from a paddle point of view, on court performance, he can produce things that no one else can.
Exactly.
He is a unique player. He is so good. I mean, he raked up 23 winners as a right-hand side player.
Right.
Being right-handed as well, which is an important distinction to make.
We're Stupa, man. We're Stupa.
With 14 converted smashes compared to only 4 from Stupa. So he was, as a right-hand sided player, he was carrying the offensive side of the team on his shoulders.
God damn.
Which is, I mean, pretty crazy.
However,
I mean, well, and then you've got an absolute Coello clinic.
Wait, let's backtrack a little bit, because obviously it bleeds into the drama. But how many games were they up here? I think it was like 5-3.
It was 5-3, 5-3 up for Stupa Lebron, serving to take the set.
They had it. They had the first set, right?
They had it there.
And what happened, huh?
I mean, they couldn't take it. They broke them back. Which was
disappointing, man.
Which was super disappointing. But because Coello and Tapia were there, and this is what we're going to talk about now as well, and like the difference there.
I mean, you guys probably saw the clips already.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Coello was playing impeccable as well. 23 winners, only 3 unforced errors, 66% smash conversion. Bad start from Tapia, as sometimes happens, but slowly got into the game with a 65% smash conversion. They managed to break Tapia to go 5-3, serve out the set.
I know, man.
Cotapia breaks back, and then chaos ensues.
Like, okay, anyone in any position, if you're 5-3 up and then all of a sudden you kind of lose that lead, it's very frustrating. But what happens when you're Juan Lebron and your partner Stupa, and some words were exchanged on the bench, right?
Oh my god!
And you can kind of see it before, when they caught up to Stupa and Lebron, and Stupa walks off the court to go to the bench, he looks like he's a kid at school that's like been sent to the principal's office, and his head's down, losing. Like, I'm gonna get an earful here, man. And
he knows, and he's scared, man.
Yeah, that's why I feel bad. Because
he's such a terrible partner. So like, let's break it down for people who don't know.
Yeah.
They break them back. They go 5-4. They don't manage to serve out the set. They're still 5-4 up. Chaos ensues. LeBron goes to the benches with Stupa, and then they just start going at it. It was crazy. Basically, maybe we can play the clip here, but we can translate it for you guys. LeBron saying, "You missed the volley, and then you miss a short lob. You have no character, no drive to win." Stupa's listens to that, and he's like, "What the fuck are you saying?
Yeah.
You have no fucking character. If that's the case, then let's just shake their hand now."
Yeah.
And we haven't even finished the first set, but if you're gonna have this attitude, let's just call it quits here.
It's done.
If there's no reason to fight anymore, then let's fucking do it. And then they were telling each other how you have no balls, brother. You have no balls. They were calling each other sissies. They were using like pretty like bad derogatory language on live TV against each other. All in all, just very embarrassing.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like, you're athletes here. Juan Lebron's sponsored by Red Bull. He's a Red Bull sponsored athlete here, and he's calling
one of the best paddle, one of the faces of paddle.
And he's telling his teammate that he has no balls, right?
And that he's a sissy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like this type of like relationship they have is something that we want to talk about right now.
I mean,
because it's so damaging at this point. Right?
Before we get into that, I actually have a question for you I want to see your take on that.
Right.
So as Bothoni, as the coach,
right,
who always travels with them to tournaments, he's Stupa's like long-term coach since he was like, I think, a minor.
Yeah.
But he knows LeBron really well.
Of course.
He's been in like the middle of this like battlefield so many times since they joined forces, Stupa and LeBron. What do you do as a coach in this situation? Like what's your, do you get involved? Do you not? Like, is he doing the right thing? Is he not? What do you think?
My take on it is that, and I think it was Nico commentating at the time, but he said it a really nice way where he's almost like the third team member of this team, right?
Yeah.
You have Stupa Lebron and Pizzoni, and am I saying his name correctly?
It's Argentinian, but like Italian, so it's like Pozzoni. I don't know.
Yeah, he is there, and obviously what happens not live during the game, we won't ever really know, right? Those conversations that happen off the court, but in those moments when LeBron's boiling up, Stupa's getting a little bit quiet, I think he definitely has a role to play here, and he should be managing this. At the moment, when they argue, it's almost like he's the guy that like snaps the stick and throws it one stick in the middle. It's like, all right, you guys sort this out, and who wins and comes out on top. And yeah, it's definitely like obviously emotions are incredibly high, right? These are grown men at the same time. And there needs to be a little bit more damage control here. I don't know if there's some bias that's happening. We've heard in previous arguments like this from Juan Lebron that he said that, you never tell Stupa that what he's doing wrong. It's always me. It's always me. So when moments like that leak out, I think it does give an accurate representation of what the inside scoop is between the dynamic of these three.
Yeah.
And LeBron maybe has a victim complex. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it definitely feels like during the games, their coach is not managing their tempers, and he goes, maybe this is already out of my depth, but I'd like to see a little bit more damage control. I'd like him to be able to coordinate and at least cool them down a little bit. But look, LeBron's not even taking his break, and he's waiting on the court, and he's there, and Stupa's just sitting there in almost guilt, you know what I mean? Of just like, I'm just getting slated right now by my teammate.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because sometimes Stupa doesn't perform, and LeBron takes it out on him. But it's almost games like this where LeBron performs worse than Stupa in some ways.
Yeah, I mean,
he still takes it out on Stupa, man.
It's crazy. I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, I think he does have a bigger role to play. I think he is in a very difficult position, the coach.
Yeah.
It's not, and like also, you shouldn't have to deal with this, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not like, oh, it's the coach's fault. Not at all.
No.
It's like these, especially LeBron children who are professional athletes, should not.
They shouldn't get to that point.
They shouldn't get to this point. So it's a bit awkward as well for Pozzoni. But at the same time, I think this is something not only on court during a game. This is something that as a team, psychologically, all you guys have psychologists, sports psychologists working with you guys. You should work on this beforehand. I think maybe because of Juan Lebron, I think it might be like a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, I just think he's in a tough position, basically. But yeah, I do agree that he might have a bigger role to play there.
Of course, and I said it already, but we don't, it's kind of like there should be ways of handling like this situation, and LeBron and Stupa should almost be on the same page as teammates here. But it feels like they're getting different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like LeBron feels like he's entitled to act that way, and Stupa's just getting sick of it, right?
Yeah.
I think it opens up like maybe 2 or 3 different narratives here, right? Where if we look at the arguments or the reasoning behind it, it's like, is Stupa in an unfair position, winning or losing? At the end of the day, this is his job, right? And he's there to perform and be a professional athlete. And yes, at this level, it's stress it's beyond that, right? But when your teammate, emphasis on the word teammate, is also giving you that toxic behavior, and I think that's what it really is, right? I'm not sugarcoating it. It is toxic behavior. I also hear the opinions of like, you kind of need that tenacity to become number one. And I'm starting to lose faith in that, because I think this is something that we've spoken about. That there's literal leading examples here. For example, Coello and Tapia, who are number ones, who are dominating, that have probably the most positive relationship in the way that they support each other. And that is just one prime example of that. You don't need to have this like aggressive, I'll call it boomer mentality of like, you need to be hard as rocks or nails or whatever.
It's such bullshit.
It is bullshit, I think, a little bit.
It's such a bullshit argument. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's not even Coello and Tapia as a pair or Chingalan as a pair who only have words of encouragement for each other. It's just this specific semifinal in itself look at the difference. You guys are winning. You're still you can still win this. You can fight for 7-5. You can fight for the tiebreak.
Yeah.
Those guys were 5-3 down.
Yeah.
And they weren't talking shit to each other because they were positive and trying to go for it. You guys fucking lost the set because of that. One of them, Coello and Tapia, went up, and you guys went down in terms of mentality.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys started screaming at each other in the bench, you lost the match then and there.
Yeah. No,
like it was, they completely threw it. And I also want to point out, you guys let us know what you think about,
involved with it, really.
Yeah, because it's an important debate. Like, what do you guys think of the coach question we asked before as well? You and I play a match together, right? We play an amateur match. Let's bring this down to like our world. 0 stakes.
Yeah.
We're playing for fun. And you miss a couple balls. You a volley to the net and like a smash or whatever. You're not happy about that.
Yeah,
As Connor, you're already pissed off that you missed. You're not like, oh, that was great. No, you already are like beating yourself up and feeling guilty about it. If you look at it from a purely logical and practical point of view, me going up to you and saying, oh, you fucking missed this and you missed that, will add, it's a lose-lose situation. There is nothing good that can come from that. I can come to you and constructively tell you, maybe that ball, I think maybe we can slow it down. Maybe you shouldn't have gone for such a impatient smash there. Maybe we can, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. What do you think we should do? That's completely different to me coming up to you and being like, dude, you suck. You threw
you just called me a sissy.
Yeah, we could have taken the set here, whatever. And I know we cannot compare these two worlds because they're complete, but it's the same principle.
Yeah.
LeBron going up to Stupa, and all it's gonna do is make Stupa feel more guilty, more self-conscious, and not like.
I mean, I even texted Hugh after when I was watching that game, right? Like, and I was just like, after that argument happened, every point lost from, LeBron or Stupa, every mistake was genuinely painful to watch, right? Because it was just so, it was so cringeworthy. It's like, if you have this mentality and we know the feelings already, and sure, leave it all out on the court for all of us to eat it up, great. But when you start making mistakes like that,
it bleeds into the spectators, doesn't it? It's like it makes everyone feel uncomfortable.
It's like when that ball hits the net, everyone's like,
oh, you can just see LeBron's arms going like like that, and his head like tilting, and you're like, oh my god.
That's also another thing. It's like, yeah, okay, you won the point. Both of them are looking down at the ground, not celebrating, which is also a massive impact on their momentum. When you don't celebrate the points that you win, it's like, what are you?
You're not talking to each other. You're not high-fiving.
Looks like you guys are having a bad time. You
and it is
want to play together. Like it's ridiculous, man. Like,
yeah,
it really is. And
I mean, look, I'll say one thing as well. If what LeBron was complaining about was Stupa's unforced errors.
Yes.
Fair enough. At the first set, LeBron was by far the best player. If you look here at the graph, he was flying compared to the rest. Fair enough. By the end of the match, LeBron raked up 10 unforced errors compared to 8 for Stupa.
Yeah.
So what LeBron was complaining about on Stupa's side, he ended up missing more than Stupa did. Which is not to say there's no validity in the argument that LeBron had of obviously you want everyone to play better, you want to win. I get that, dude. Amazing, fair enough. No excuse for the behavior that he showed on the benches, and it is actually that negative mental shift that he had that turned him from being the best player in the match
to the worst,
to the worst, or like on par with everyone else.
Exactly.
You dropped down because of you.
Yeah,
you digged your own grave.
He's his own enemy,
man. And you're your own worst enemy. That's such a good way of putting it.
And obviously we have a couple of questions here that we want to ask.
Yeah,
it's almost at this point, right, where is Juan LeBron doing more damage than good when he acts like this on the court, and in terms of his future partner and prospect? Because at this point, I doubt that Stupa is going to hang out with him for much longer, play with him that more. But I kind of want to know from the perspective of other, especially younger players, maybe, potential candidates to play with LeBron. Yeah. Okay, maybe he might get a call from one of the big dogs. I doubt it at this point. Is he almost like tarnishing his future of paddle because he's making that pool of people that want to play with him less? Obviously, we know how great he is, but when you know that you're getting into a potentially toxic partnership because of someone's mentality, does that become less desirable for other players, right? Like, do you think that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think that the key thing here is, and we've seen this happen, which will bring me to the question I have for you next, is he's running out of partners.
Yeah.
He's gone through, everyone wants to play with him, obviously, because of ranking, because of how good he is on court. Players give it a chance. They're like, if you get a call from LeBron, you will answer and you will probably say yes. If you're below him, which is most of everyone in the world, basically. He's amazing, as we've said many times. They go for it. They play with him, however, a couple tournaments, a month, few months, whatever. And then they're like, dude, this is fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how good this guy is.
Exactly.
It is. I cannot play with this guy because we lose because of his
mentality.
His mentality. Like, same with like Nenno happened, like it wasn't as bad because Nenno is such a sweetheart, but the issue here is LeBron wants to be number one. He believes in his head that he can be number one. When he sees that his partner cannot give him that, he loses his mind.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't think that that Stupa can bring you to be number one. Okay. Still, man, like, you're definitely not going to be, you're going to be even less number one if you treat your partners like this.
Yeah.
You tried it with Paquito. You tried it with Nenno.
Yeah.
You nearly tried it with Augsburger. Now Stupa.
Yeah.
Like,
don't get Galan.
you sorry, the biggest one. Sorry about that, guys. You tried it with Galan, who is probably the person that knows that he can be number one the most. You were number one together for 4 years.
Yeah.
Even Galan had to.
He was like,
he was losing his will to live and to play paddle.
Yeah.
Like, he literally said, I fell in love with paddle again with Chingoto.
Yeah.
The same thing's happening with Stupa. Stupa is completely, everyone's saying it on social media. You can see it in his head, the way he left the court.
Yeah.
He's losing his childlike passion.
Yeah.
These guys are professional athletes that are in a privileged position. They are one of the few people on earth that can call their job their passion.
Yeah.
They are professional athletes. It's a gift for them to be able to do this, and they can't.
No, it's insane.
And it's ridiculous. So to answer your question, yes, LeBron is 100% tarnishing his image, being a terrible influence for future generations.
Yeah.
I don't care how good he is.
Yeah, me too. And I think, he's shooting himself in the foot really by doing this.
Yeah.
And I'll add on to that as well, because, I'm a big fan of, good sportsmanship. That's why I'm a big fan of Coello and Tapia. And I almost want to say that because of the way that he acts, I genuinely don't think he deserves to be number one either, right? And I don't think he can, spit out and chew players like this. And
sportsmanship, being a good sportsman isn't just being a great paddle player in this case. 50% of sports is mentality.
Yeah.
Any sport you play, your mental needs to be either on par or as better as your physical talent, skills. It's a part of being an athlete. 100%. And if you don't have that, then I'm sorry, dude, but you cannot.
You're just not going to get that.
Yeah. Look, having said that, just to give a bit of throw a bit in more spice, I will say it is true. Stupa wasn't playing his best.
Yeah.
I do think Stupa can be a bit of a, maybe for our Spanish speakers out there, a bit of a Argentinians, pecho frío, which basically means like when push comes to shove, you cannot convert.
I see.
You're a bit of like you get like cold feet. I do agree that Stupa, as great of a player as he is, he might have that a little bit.
Agree.
To be fair, looking at the stats, LeBron's worst in this case was on par with Stupa's best, quote unquote, in this match specifically. Not to say that this is like, but yeah, fair enough. Stupa wasn't having his best game. Screaming at him, telling him he's a pussy and that he sucks.
Yeah.
Will definitely not make him better. Look, that leads me to my question. Looks like after this, honestly, feels like kind of a last straw for me.
Yeah.
In terms of Stupas. Okay, so that poses the question. Stupa LeBron split up, which I think is imminent. I don't know. I'm not a genie, but what do you guys think as well?
I wouldn't be surprised.
What are the options then? How do we see the paddle world, the domino effect with that? Who is LeBron calling up? Who's Stupa calling up?
I think, look, I'm gonna go for the excitement here a little bit. I think you kind of know who I'm going to say here.
Bullshit.
I like the idea of strapping two pieces of dynamite together and swinging it around and throwing it up in the sky and seeing if it blows up. Just for entertainment value, I want to throw Augsburger in there and an Augsburger LeBron.
I think that's the biggest contender. It's the only one, and then he'll play with him for a bit.
Yeah,
they'll both.
I think, but the thing is, I think unlike Stupa, Augsburger has a tendency already to bite back.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see that when, because Stupa's so passive, I kind of want to see how LeBron acts when someone kind of gives it back to him a little bit, just to see how that goes. Maybe that pressure makes diamonds thing might actually happen. I have no idea. But I don't like Stupa getting pushed around in the corner a little bit and kind of just taking it on the.
Augsburger will give it back.
I have a feeling that he would have he's younger, less experienced, but he kind of has maybe a little bit too much confidence at the moment. So that is my contender.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking first at LeBron has two options.
Yeah.
Augsburger, I think one of the biggest candidates for future number one. If Juan wants to chase that, I think Augsburger might be the best option for him.
Yeah.
In terms of chemistry and mentality, I don't even fucking know anymore. I think it's a bad idea, but like it's the only one left basically for LeBron.
For Stupa?
I mean, again, I'll say it again. We've said this a million times. We'll see. The only other option, I think, is he's still showing it day by day. It's never gonna happen. Galan.
Stupa Galan?
No, Galan LeBron.
Oh gosh, Galan.
For LeBron, yeah. LeBron pairing up again with Galan, I think, is another option to contend for number ones, but whatever. Let me know about what do you think of Stupa.
I kind of just thought of it now. Crazy. But I'd like to see a Stupa Bergamini combo.
Yeah.
I think that could go down pretty well. Like if Stupa does step up his game, brings that aggression, Bergamini, I think one of the you got the Martin Nennos, you got the Chingatas, and I think Bergamini opens himself up to be a right side defensive player, obviously on a smaller side. But I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't hate that combination either. So that would be my. It's a tougher one to choose for Stupa and LeBron, that's for sure. But
there's more options.
I'll throw Bergamini into the ring there.
I'll throw in a Maxi Arce.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll throw in Maxi Arce. They played together when LeBron was injured in Tarragona. I want to say. I think
potentially yes, or Malaga.
Recently,
recently
when LeBron was injured, Maxi Arce, up and coming player. Recently only had like a few FIP points because he played in A1.
Yeah.
Obviously, because of his level, they welcomed him into the Premier Padel circuit, and he's now like making his way. Incredible player, left-handed. I think him and Stupa would make a great combo.
Yeah.
Other options for Stupa, I'm gonna throw in maybe Cardona. I'm gonna throw in maybe a Yanguas as well in there.
Stupa Yanguas? Yeah, but they play together anyway, right?
Yeah, but I think it could be good. But yeah, I think for me, Maxi Arce would be top choice for Stupa, a fresh new project of an Argentinian pair.
I'm down for that. I mean, you guys let us know. Who do you want to see LeBron and Stupa play with? Because I'm pretty sure that if they go into next season playing together, it's going to be like...
It felt really like the end for me.
But yeah,
this one. Let us know.
Less stats on this one, but we have to cover that. The juice, the drama that happens on court, because these guys kind of like give it all for us, really. We got to eat it up. But yeah, we want to move on to our next segment here, which is what happened to the Nenno Augsburger guys. I'm still riding off the highs of their tournament win in Madrid last weekend, right? And I was really hoping they would be a proper contender, to go in with the momentum, go in with the confidence. And early in the week, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, I just see they get knocked out by Sanyo and Alfonso. And it's such a shame, really.
Round 32.
Round 32, right? The first game back after riding their highs off Madrid P1. Maybe they party too hard. I don't know. He's the biggest partier, Augsburger or Nenno.
Probably Augsburger.
But yeah, actually, Matt. If I was in this position as well, I'd like to have a little fun too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a storyline that we were kind of hoping that we could talk on, but I did want to just touch on it a little bit here.
Yeah.
On kind of what went wrong, is Augsburger's mentality a little bit of a lackluster, or did he overcompensate here a little bit? Is it because they're going against one of the legends of paddle, Sanyo Gutierrez, and one of the legends of A1 paddle, really, Alfonso, and yeah, I was just disappointed. They got knocked out, right? And it was just lackluster, man.
Look, I mean, again, this happens with paddle all the time. we see highs and lows. We see pairs change really quickly, and I think we've learned throughout the years, throughout doing this podcast as well. Maybe you guys agree with us. You can't just make, it's not black or white. You can't make like impulsive decisions like that. Look, there is no straight answer or formula on how you can go from winning a tournament, beating the top three to then losing in round 32. This doesn't mean that Nenno Augsburger should retire from paddle, that they're never going to, like, yes, they went from the top of the top to now like doing a pretty terrible performance in a major.
Yeah.
Things happen. Guerrero Leal beat Yanguas in like quarterfinals back to back.
It's true.
And then the following tournament, Yanguas beat them 6-0, 6-0.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of factors that come into play. We can go into some of the details.
Yeah, let's do that.
Look, I think Nenno Augsburger's still a new pair that's adjusting.
Very true.
Like, it does take a while they've only played, I think this is their third tournament together.
Yeah, so early days.
So it's early days. And look, like, Augsburger is very young. I think he still might carry that idea and that play style that he acquired with Cardona of strangulation, of making the court half the size, of not letting opponents breathe, of wanting to finish points ASAP.
Yeah.
Because that's his play style. I get it.
And that's his main weapon, really.
That's his main weapon, but I feel like he needs to mature a little bit in that sense, and maybe he needs more patience. Also, look, they went up against tough opponents.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
true.
It's not a walk in the park when you're facing one of the best paddle players in history.
Yeah.
Whatever, he's like 41 or 42, but he's still
he's there.
One of the best. Sánchez Gutiérrez, and also paired up with Alfonso.
Yeah.
It's never going to be a walk in the park. But look, I mean, and I think it came down to, if we're talking about that game specifically, it came down to effectiveness.
Yeah.
Basically, we have 100% break points converted from Sánchez and Alfonso compared to only 50% for the Nenno Augsburger. A series of 13 consecutive points for Sánchez Gutiérrez.
Yeah.
And very solid on service as well, with 67% points won on first and second balls.
Right.
Only 66% smash rate from Augsburger, which is a bit low for his.
Yeah, I mean, you got to factor in the court conditions here, slower courts, right? Which kind of echoes exactly what you were saying, right? Like, his wheelhouse of weapons when
there you go.
You can't select the smash. He gets sort of cut off short a little bit, right? And that's exactly what you mean when he needs to mature in terms of his tactical play style. It was something that we mentioned earlier in the episode. Great examples of Coello and Tapia, that when they can't use their smashes, they can adapt very quickly.
Their fan of resources is inextinguishable. It's like it's
where Augsburger just has his one weapon right now, which is his smash. But when he can't use it, that's when
which is a fucking like atomic bomb of a weapon. But sometimes you can't just drop atomic bombs. You have to use other weapons.
And it seems like he just can't come up with any ideas in situations like that. And that's what happens. You get knocked out early rounds, and hopefully in the next few tournaments, or we got one more major in Acapulco later this year, and they can pull through for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well. I mean, and look, as we said here, he's not like, this isn't like black or white, and there's many reasons for why maybe they got knocked out early. But yeah, I feel like he gets Augsburger especially a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Even if he has improved a lot, especially after the summer break, and maybe I think sometimes he lacks ideas. He's a very impulsive player.
Yeah.
And also his attitude needs to shift.
I think
a little bit. I think so when he's losing.
Yeah, we mentioned and we were speculating if him and LeBron would ever play together, right? It would have this sort of like extra gunpowder or extra explosivity to it. And yeah, I do see that side of him leak out a little bit. That's kind of part of me why I like him as well.
Yeah.
He is this kind of like robust animal at the end of the day.
He did rake up 38 winners with 28 unforced errors, but he's as we said, a high risk player, and that doesn't always work.
Yeah, exactly.
So these might be the reasons why we're talking a lot of Augsburger. To be fair, Nenno, a much more experienced player. It wasn't his best game.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it was more on Augsburger's side this like loss early.
Yeah, which is it's a massive hole in their boat, though. Really, like if not every court they play on is going to be fast, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, do they prepare for the courts that are just in their favor? But that sounds so two-dimensional as a team, right? Like you have to wait for those conditions to come up.
And who knows? Like they beat Coello and Tapia. Coello and Tapia have now won.
Yeah.
Like we can't just say Coello and Tapia lose against Nenno Augsburger. Oh my God, Coello and Tapia dethroned. They will never play together again. It's we have to understand that it's highs and lows, and that so many variables that are that we don't know about, and that are like in the ether. That we can't they're intangible, and we can't like pick them up.
We just have to see how it plays out. You know? But speaking of highs and lows, I kind of want to go into our next.
Let's do it
here a little bit if you want to bring us into it.
So let's go back to the women's side. We started with that. We saw the number twos now, the famously number ones, now number twos, Sánchez and Josemaría, being knocked out again.
I know.
Early-ish for their standards. Knocked out in the semis. The race to, they're in the race to be the queens of paddle, but they did get knocked out by one of the finalists, Ricardo Ortega. After they beat Fernandez González in the quarters, they went to beat them in the semis. The Sánchez and Josemaría. So what happened there? What's
well, it's not so much the game that I want to talk about. It's more Sánchez and Josemaría, because I think right now, in terms of the storylines of what's going on in women's paddle, it is so much closer, right? And we always say that the levels of competition are much tighter. The back and forths of Brea and Triay, dethroning Sánchez and Josemaría, and now at this point furthering the gap. And I kind of look back at their last 4 tournaments, right? This, by the way, this is a pairing that were ranked number 1 for 2023, 2024. They were ranked number 1 pairs for like something crazy, like 840 days, right?
Yeah.
And they held it without sweating. And now all of a sudden, this 2025 season, the likes of Gemma Triay, Delphi Brea, even Claudia Fernandez and Bea Gonzalez have sort of really put a lot of pressure in between them. It's a sandwich between Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea and Claudia Fernandez and Bea Gonzalez, right? And in the last 4 tournaments, they got knocked out in quarterfinals 3 times. Obviously, in the last tournament in Paris that we just watched, they got knocked out in semifinals, and they did reach 1 finals, losing to Gemma Triay, Delphi Brea. That's the tournament in Tarragona where they got dethroned from their ranked number 1 position. And I find these moments in sport, not just paddle, very interesting, because is this the ebbs and flows of rebuilding your confidence, your position in a sport? You were number 1, they still have the potential to be number 1. The race is still very much on, but all I'm seeing is this gap get a little bit further away as the weeks go by, as tournaments come in. And I am curious now, and I want to ask you this question, and it might be early, but we're here to speculate a little bit and create a little bit of drama.
As you guys already know.
For the players or the teams that have dominance and start to see it crack and shake a little bit, do you see the end of the light for Sánchez and Josemaría coming soon? Or do you think this is the beginning of a really intense rivalry, right? That they should stay together because they have the opportunity to put that pressure on Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea?
Yeah.
Big question.
Big question.
Look, if we have a crystal ball here,
and
we can
I think I'm gonna answer this question by saying it's incredibly difficult to be number 1.
Yes.
It's even more difficult to maintain that position, and that's true with many sports, many industries, everything in life. It's already a massive achievement to get to be the best at something in the world.
Yeah.
It's even harder to keep that. We see it in films and music and other industries, right? It's normal. Like we even see it with Coello and Tapia, the fucking cyborgs, the inhumane players. Even them, sometimes they can crack under pressure. It is true that for Sánchez and Josemaría now it's been a bit more than usual. Also, I feel like something, I don't know what exactly, because I'm not close to them. I don't know them personally. Maybe something happened in the summer break. Maybe they didn't prepare that break well enough. And And also, like, they've been together for so long. They're like one of the longest standing female pairs ever.
Yeah.
That you also have to think that, like, they start to figure them out.
Yeah.
And other down the rankings, yeah, because they've always been at the top, those change.
Yeah.
So they lose information, kind of, while the other ones are gaining more and more. So the other ones can surprise them more.
Yeah.
While the other ones can't. In the same sense, I think we have up and comers in the women's side that are really, really putting pressure on the veterans.
Yes. 100%.
The likes of Claudia Fernandez, the likes of Ustero, the likes of
Martina Calvo,
Alejandra Alonso, like, who are, I think, a bit more. I think the differences are a bit less on the women's side, meaning they're a bit closer, these young players, to the veterans.
Yes.
Like, compared to, like, maybe Augsburger is to Coello or Galan or Lebron, I think those differences are bigger. So they're seeing themselves challenged
100%.
by all these changes. I can't tell you specifically what, and to answer your question, I think they should maybe stay together.
Yeah.
I would say, unless they see it fit to separate, because if they do, then that's a massive change in the women's circuit.
The musical chairs will happen.
I think they should just stick together and maybe look at their game I a little bit more and see what they can change. If it doesn't work, then go for a change. But I personally think that it's not the end for Sánchez and Josemaría. They're just going through a rough patch.
Yeah.
Stick to it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I want it to be a little bit divisive there. When you see the top dog shake a little bit, you kind of start to think who they play with and that. But it's just like, you're totally right. After 840 days of being number one, you don't, after 4 tournaments, you don't just go, let's scrap all of this and throw it away. They definitely have.
And we've learned better as well.
Yeah, exactly.
To say that from like other,
Exactly. Definitely very much on the older style, as we were saying, of their play style, much more slower, passive. Obviously, Sánchez and even Josemaría, they do have a good smash.
Yeah.
They just don't pull it out that often.
Yeah.
And they only do it to kill an easy ball. But yeah, I mean, I do want to carry on to the next segment, but I do want to ask if they did split up as well. Sánchez, Josemaría, theoretically, if they split up, who would you like to see play?
So the thing is, the golden phone is in their hands, right?
Yeah,
for both of them.
Yeah.
And I think they can call up anyone, and they will definitely say yes. I think the most feasible, and here again, guys, we're speculating. Let us know as well what you guys think. So I don't know. I think what I'd like to see the most, and what I think would be most realistic, would be a pair swap with Fernandez and González.
Yeah.
I think Sánchez. Sorry, I think Paula Josemaría playing with Claudia Fernandez.
Yeah.
And Ari Sánchez playing with Bea González. I think that would be the... sorry, no.
Yeah, I was going to say the other way around.
Oh, I get so confused.
Yeah.
Bea González on the left.
Yes.
With Josemaría on the right. Claudia Fernandez on the right with Ari Sánchez on the left.
This question's breaking huge brain.
It's the surnames are the same. It's like one's left-handed. Like it's crazy. But yeah, you guys know what we mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pair swapping there, I think, and I think González and Fernandez would go for that.
Yeah, I would like that too.
So.
But I also kind of want González and Fernandez to stay together.
Yes.
Just like really try because I do love that rivalry between Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea. Claudia Fernandez.
When they pairs swap.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're all teammates, and it's not like Gemma Triay and Delphi Brea walk over Fernandez and González.
No,
they give them a hard time, and they have a
big rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. They have a massive rivalry, but yeah, I wouldn't speculate for Josemaría, but I think I would also be a big fan of Ari Sánchez and Ustero playing together if she wanted bring in a young gun.
That's a good one.
And
the sensei apprentice type.
Yeah.
I think they could both do that. Maybe even Paula Josemaría with someone like maybe Alejandra Alonso.
Yeah.
Martina Calvo is no
left side player.
Left side player. So she could play with Paula Josemaría.
But
that would be yeah.
Yeah, she's so young, Martina Calvo, but she's doing
but
so
she's a
well.
beast.
She's an absolute animal, and she has a monster smash. Like it's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
but,
future number one.
But yeah.
So yeah, let us
let us
know what you guys think.
What are your thoughts on that on the women's side of the race, because it is ever so tight, and it just seems to get even tighter towards the end of the season, and we might get a fallout finals at the end of the year, a race for the actual title. That would be great if the points add up like that, and it's a deciding situation over one tournament. I would absolutely love that. But we
reaching the end. Connor, how are we gonna say goodbye to this episode?
Well, we have a bunch of new pairings that have come in right at the last quarter of the season, right? Which
because why not? Obviously,
why not? It's a bit of a silly season-esque
usual suspects.
Yeah, exactly. So we just wanted to update you guys on just because there's no new pairings on the women's side. It's just the men's side, right? So
big changes.
Changes. We're gonna rapid fire them here, and then maybe talk about them at the end here a little bit. But Juan Teo is now playing with Edu Alonso. Juan Teo playing with Pablo Cardona. Edu Alonso playing with Momo Gonzalez. That partnerships have now ended. We now go on to Javi Garrido and Pablo Cardona playing together. We'll give our opinions on that after we run through this. Javi Garrido on his 7th partner this season, which is just insane.
Crazy.
And Pablo Cardona obviously playing with Juan Teo. We have Javi Leal playing with Lucas Bergamini. Javi Leal playing with Guerrero. Bergamini playing with Paquito Navarro, which, that was a nice...
That's probably the biggest change, Navarro and Bergamini splitting.
Exactly, and if you're already asking yourself who is Paquito Navarro playing with, he's now playing with John Sanz, Paquito Bergamini, John Sanz, Momo Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Going on to Momo Gonzalez.
He is now playing with
Francisco Guerrero, and obviously... Momo, John Sanz, Francisco, Javi Leal. A lot of names, a lot of names.
But yeah, we'll pop them up.
Yeah, we'll pop them up.
And we'll do the cutout boards and stuff, so you guys can see.
I mean, general opinions on this last end of season.
Look, general opinions. This just feels like a Hail Mary for like these players. Like so many of them have pair swapped so much. Again, raises the question again of like what's going on in professional paddle. Is this good for the sport? Is this good for the players? Is this just like trying to what is that? What's the expression? Throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
I think so. I think at this point,
I think the only one that I would say like makes sense and has more reasoning is the Bergamini Navarro split up.
Yeah.
They did do a very good season, even as pair number 7. They made semis. They even made a final.
Yeah.
But I think there was like in terms of personalities and chemistry there was we were starting to see some cracks. As we know, Navarro is being one of the biggest personalities in professional paddle as well.
Exactly.
So they've decided to go their separate ways. I mean, I don't know about you, what you think. For me, if we're talking about, the pair that I'm most excited to see, the one that I think could do most damage, I'm looking at Leal Bergamini here. I think this new pairing could be... I think Leal is one of the best up-and-coming players in the circuit right now.
Agree.
Massive smash.
Yeah.
Plays with so much heart and passion. Needs to work on his mentality a bit.
That's true.
But I think pairing him up with a veteran like Bergamini, they're going to have a classic old-school pairing, as we've seen with Augsburger and Nenno.
The power and the defensive player there.
Yeah.
And it makes sense on paper. So we'll see how that comes to fruition.
What do you think?
In terms of the one that will be most successful?
What pops out for you here out of this list?
I'll say Juan Teo and Edu Alonso. I'm a big fan of Edu Alonso, and I feel like he's kind of been nerfed this year a little bit. Like he hasn't had his moments to shine. I don't necessarily think Juan Teo is the right person for this, but say we're at the end of the quarter of the season. There's only so many months left to bring us to the end of the 2025 season, which is kind of crazy. But I think they could bring that. So they have that aura where I'm feeling that they could definitely,
Nice.
I also do believe in Javi Leal and Lucas Bergamini, but I want to say an answer different to you. So yeah, it's those two. Everyone else, Javi Garrido, Pablo Cardona, seems like an absolute mess. And what happened to Cardona? He was having the time of his life playing with Augsburger, and then now he's playing with Garrido, who's seems like a bad luck charm at this point of the season.
Went from being pair number 7 in the world with Yanguas last season, to now being in this match. He came in as pair number ranked 35.
Crazy. Which is really
Massive drop down.
disappointing.
But yeah,
I do think the split between Momo Gonzalez and John Sands, I think John Sands lost a little bit getting paired with Paquito Bergamini, which is a little bit of a hot take,
yeah,
but I just think...
Paquito Navarro.
yeah, sorry, what did I say? Paquito Bergamini?
There's so many
names, guys. Sorry, yeah. I don't really think that's going to be a great pairing. It just seems like a fun one to do. And
Yeah.
maybe John Sands is like, fuck it, let's play with Paquito Navarro.
I don't know if I agree with that. We'll see. I think Paquito Navarro still, even though he's a hothead, still one of the biggest veterans in paddle history who's still active.
Fine.
Brings in a lot of experience. I think he's not your most common backhand player, but I think he still has a lot of quality.
Yeah.
Playing in the left hand side, but
you can watch him hit a bandeja every time you want to see him smash, man. That's like the most annoying thing ever. It's like just fucking kill the ball, man, please. Like I don't want to see this.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we can't speculate too much because, as you guys know, like 2 days from now they'll be playing with someone else. All of these guys.
It seems at that rate, guys. Like the amount of pairings that change so fast.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think about these changes as well. Who's your favorite pairing?
Yeah.
And yeah,
a lot of names, but I hope you guys chewed on to that. But that kind of brings us to the end of the episode here, guys. Just thank you so much for listening, and I'll let Hugh sign us off here as well.
Yeah, great episode, massive major, loads of changes, loads of interesting talking points. Please do like, subscribe, comment, engage with us. We love hearing from you guys, whatever platform you use. Please do.
Yeah, we read all the comments.
Because we read all the comments and we try and get involved as well. Massive thank you to anyone who's been listening to us wherever you joined us in our journey. We're on episode 23 now. That's crazy. But we keep it coming.
Yep.
No tournament next week.
Yes.
And
we won't be doing.
And we won't be doing an episode for Germany because of personal reasons.
Yeah.
We also have a life, so we need to balance that out.
And we'll be back.
And we'll be back, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, guys.